Alright, hey guys, Leave here, bringing you guys another Fire Emblem Heroes video, and this video is going to be a character review and a custom build, skill inheritance kind of, guide. And in this video in particular, we're going to be taking a in-depth look into Lucina. So yeah, in this video I'll be covering her roles, her tips, some tips when using her, boons and banes, like what are the best boons and best banes for her, threats in the arena, and units that might synergize well with her, so units that you want to bring along in your party if you want Lucina in your party, because help her out a little bit. And lastly, we're gonna take a look at some skills and some ideas for custom builds. Initially this was going to be a video solely based on the last part there, but I realized that I can't really get into the details of why certain skills and certain builds are optimal for her unless there's a good understanding of all her other aspects, such as her base stats and her roles and all that stuff. So yeah, this is my first time making this kind of video, so I hope it goes well. I hope I don't screw up too much. This is kind of a weird setup that I have going on. So yeah, let me know let me know if I can improve on it or anything, if you guys find it helpful or whatnot. But continuing on with the video, let's get to the first part. So her role is understanding her role. So she is a glass cannon, and she is meant for taking out green units. She can handle red units fairly well. She can definitely handle colorless units provided you have good positioning and get her into a good range to be able to initiate attacks. She is a counter to dragons because she wields the Falchion. And yeah, that's basically it. So some tips is like I said before, just like a few seconds ago actually, you want to try to always position yourself to initiate the attack, and keep in mind that Lucina at max HP will most likely only survive one hit, so that's not a double hit, it's just the one hit. So if she gets doubled, which is kind of hard to do, but now there's custom skills going on with the skill inheritance, so that could be a problem. But if she takes more than one hit, she's dead. If she takes more than one hit, well, you gotta play with that mindset anyways, because unless you have a defense boon Lucina, at full HP you can only be taking one hit, and then after that you'll die the next hit. So moving on, the best boons and banes. The best boons would be attacker speed. Ideally, yeah, just either one of those would be pretty good. We'll go over her neutral stats in a little bit. I actually have a chat thing that's set up, so we'll take a look at that in a minute. Her best bane would be defense or resistance, depending on how you want to play her. I feel like, well, resistance or defense, yeah, she's gonna be in a lot of melee battle situations, so resistance might be a better bane for her. But she, even with a defense Bane, I think you can still survive the one hit. And like I said before, you don't want to be taking more than one hit. So yeah, you just gotta play around that. The threats in arena, basically any blue units would be able to destroy her, mostly because a lot of blue units have you know, in the arena have brave lances, so they'll double you no matter what. And Lucina's already got super low defense, so she's gonna die. And she's got really low resistance, so she will definitely die to a blue magic, just the one hit. Naui, she can... yeah, it's not a very optimal matchup, because I think you might be able to survive the one hit if you have a resistance boon, but honestly, Naui is, you know, she will probably survive your one Falcion hit and then retaliate with a close-up magic attack, because it's a breath attack, so it counts as a magic, so it might be pretty bad for you. So if it's say attack Bane Naui or defense Bane Naui, or Naui without, you know, sword breaker or something. Yeah, so I would stay away from Naui and Ninian, even though I've got it written down here that she might fare a bit well against them. They're dragons, but they're blue, so they might still kick her ass. She will die to sword units, red sword units with sword breaker, because they will be able to double her. So keep that in mind. Yeah. That's because she has really low defense. So yeah, basically anytime she gets doubled, she's gonna die. Even if it's just neutral damage or like color disadvantage kind of, you know, if a green unit doubles her, she's probably almost dead. But yeah, depending on the map and positioning, obviously range units, you want to bait them in so you can go in for that, you know, optimal 2 steps forward and then attack the third square. But yeah, some maps make it really tricky for that, so against range units, she's definitely not really up there. I wouldn't do that. In fact, so let's move on, because I was going to talk about something, but I don't know if I have it on the next slide or not. But let's move on to the next slide anyways. Okay, so units that synergize well with her. Since she counters green units, but blue units kick her ass, and green units counter blues, so you know, most green units would be probably pretty good. Just green units to stay by her and, you know, back her up. If like a blue guy comes in, then she can hide behind a green guy and then, you know, get some shielding going on. So probably a tank. But yeah, if you have a green tank, you might have to play around that, because if it's an armored unit, they don't have the best of mobility, so might be a little bit troublesome. But generally, any greens would work, really. Actually, green range unit would be quite good as well. So green mages, singers or dancers, these guys, I should probably take them out of the units that synergize well, because they synergize well with everybody. Yeah, they give you extra turn, so you need to finish off your enemies before they, as I said before, get that extra hit on you and you die, so you can't even counterattack. I put down here range units with spur buff, so that's a very specific scenario kind of based thing. So if you have Wings of Mercy, or escape route on Lucina, then you can effectively teleport to your range units, and the range unit will give you the spur buff instantly instead of, you know, at the start of the next turn. You will get it immediately as you stand right next to them. So that's why range units with spur buff is something to consider if you plan on running, you know, like Wings of Mercy or escape route, or if you're just really good with positioning and you just have like a green mage and Lucina like sticking together, you know, always throughout the fight. So yeah, next up we have her neutral stats. So this is a this is what her stats look like if she's a neutral IV. So you know, the boons and banes, they basically +3 or -3 of these stats would be your plus and minuses, like boons and banes. So a attack boon or a speed boon here would be ideal, as I said before, I think. So basically, if you get a attack boon, Lucina, you are going to want to focus on your speed, just because you want to be able to double as much opponents as possible. And I believe even with a attack boon, and if you focus on your speed with the skill sets and all that stuff, you will still be able to double basically 90% of the characters in the game. So it's actually quite good. If you have a speed boon, your choices open up a little bit more, because if you focus on the attack, then you'll be doing, you know, like great damage, and you'll be doubling 90% of the characters in the game. Or you could focus on speed with your skills and stuff, and if you do that, then you will absolutely be able to double anybody in the game, unless they have you know, like merged units, or they have their own speed boons and they played around with their skills and all that stuff, and they're initiating combat on you and all that stuff. So yeah, but in most cases, if you have if your Lucina is a speed boon Lucina, and you focus on the speed with the skills, like skill inheritance, then you're gonna be able to double everybody. So yeah, if you have neutral IVs on either attack or speed, and you have your boons and, you know, banes elsewhere, I would focus on the speed. Yeah, you want to double as much opponents as you can. Also prevents you from being doubled yourself, which, like I keep stressing out about with Lucina, if you take 2 hits consecutively, you are most likely going to be dead. So you want to avoid that. You want to try to initiate combat and attack, they'll counterattack, and then you attack, and then maybe dance and get the hell out of there, or maybe bait them in and then make sure you're able to double attack them and kill them in that one turn, or else, you know, it's bad news. The reason I keep saying initiating combat rather than, you know, like waiting, you know, putting her as bait and baiting a hit and all that stuff, it's more to do with her custom skills and all that stuff. So let's take a look at the next part. So yeah, initially the whole video was just going to be this part alone, but I sort of figured I'd do like some brief explanations and stuff on the other stuff before we got to this stuff, a lot of stuff. anyways, sorry, okay, so anyways, custom build options. So obviously she's gonna wield the Falcion, and I see no reason for you to remove this. It makes her, it's got really high attack. It heals every what's it, third turn, yeah, which helps greatly because she'll be losing a lot of HP every time she goes into battle. She loses HP, so yeah, you want that. And also it makes her a counter to dragons, so that's pretty good. For the assist skill, you might want pivot. Pivot basically opens her up to a lot of escape options if things get tough, or just makes her able to get to places quicker. So it's basically a movement sort of augmenting assist skill. So it's really good on her, both to get in and to get out. If you're getting in and trying to bait and attack, make sure you have a way out, because you know, glass cannon, that sort of thing. The next one up we have is well, I'll talk about that one. As you can see here, it's Ardent Sacrifice, but that's a very specific build that you might need for that. So along with Noontime, actually, you kind of want to play around. Yeah, there's no point in having either of those if you're not doing like a specific build. But let's get on with her ultimate, I guess. Ultimate Moonbow would be great. So let's just say it's like that for now. Moonbow has a cooldown of 2, so she's able to double any opponent, so her third attack will always be a Moonbow. It basically ups her damage and secures the kill, so she won't have to take any, you know, like repercussions from getting attacked back and all that stuff. Yeah, that's basically it. Let's move on to the skills for slot A, B, and C. I've handpicked a few that I thought would be pretty good. So let's start with this one, Darting Blow. So basically, if you have a higher attack, you want to focus on your speed. Well, if you, I think focusing on her speed is the way to go, actually. So this will allow you to double pretty much 90%, if not 100% of your opponents in the game if you initiate the attack. So that's why I've been stressing out about the whole, you want to position yourself so you can initiate an attack. This is because yeah, it only works if you initiate the attack. So yeah, so Darting Blow is a good one. Next up we have Death Blow. Why am I dragging these up here? I don't know. It just seems right. Death Blow is, you know, if you have a speed boon, Lucina, and you're fine with being able to double pretty much everybody in the whole game, but not absolutely everybody. So you're fine with being able to double pretty much everybody, but not like Lindy's, which you won't reach anyways. Then Death Blow is a good option, because if you're going to be doubling, you want to be doubling with better damage. So this is a good one if you have a speed boon. If you have a attack boon or neutral boon, or anything else, I would probably still go for the plus speed, just to make sure you can double attack 90% of the enemies. The next one is Distant Counter. Distant Counter comes from Hector, so it's very, very rare. It might not be the best option for her actually, because sure, she can distant counter, but she's not really built for it. She can't take the damage. She really shouldn't be in combat way too often. She's more like a get in there, get the kill, get the hell out kind of character. So I don't know. If you have distant counter on her, I highly suggest you have Vantage, because the next hit, that's, if they hit you, you're gonna lose 50% of your HP. And if you're running away and then some range unit snipes you, you're gonna want Vantage. So yeah, but Vantage might not even finish them off. So unless you have like, well, it won't finish them off even if you have like stuff like Death Blow and stuff, because you're not initiating the attack. So yeah, you're gonna have to look for a one-hit kill for that Vantage. Otherwise, you're in trouble. So yeah, very situational. Next up, we have all the skills for slot B. I feel like I'm going a little bit too slow here, so maybe I won't move my skills up there until like the last part where I'm like explaining the builds and all that stuff, like combinations. Maybe I'll just talk about it. So I wanna talk about renewal last, because I have a separate sort of explanation for that. It might seem odd, and it might seem like, what the fuck? Why are you doing this, man? She's got Falcion, so she heals already. Yeah, but I have a very good explanation for that, which will come later on, after I get through all these other skills. The Desperation, it's pretty good. Basically, if you have below 75% HP and you're able to double your enemy, then you will do your 2 hits before your enemy can do anything if you initiate the attack. So imagine yourself in the scenario where you've baited an attack, you're taking your 1 hit, you're at 50% HP or less because you have really low defense. That puts you in desperation range, which means you can follow that up with a kill, a secured kill, unless it's a blue unit. So somebody comes in, they hit you because and then you double them and you kill them, and now you have 50%-ish HP. You can go out and kill the other guy that's behind this guy that just killed you, provided he was slightly out of range and didn't manage to reach you in time. You don't want to get attacked twice in the one turn. It's basically what I mean. Yeah. So Wings of Mercy is quite good. I forgot to put Escape Route here, but I think Wings of Mercy might work a little bit better. Escape Route would work quite good as well. Like I said, 1 hit equals 50% HP. So this will work really well with your range allies, because what will happen is your mages might be in a ranged duke out, and then you can just teleport right next to them and land a melee hit. And with that kind of speed and damage that Lucina does, she will be able to do the secure kill is basically what I mean. If you're gonna go with Wings of Mercy or Escape Route, I didn't put this on slot C because I'm not really gonna use that myself. But if you do intend on doing Wings of Mercy or Escape Route, I'd highly suggest looking into skills that are like Spur Attack or Spur Defense. Well, not Spur Defense, no one. Fuck Spur Defense. Like Breath of Life or Spur Attack, Spur Speed, stuff like that. The kind of stuff that takes action and is in effect the moment you land right next to your ally, instead of having to wait for the start of the turn to kick in. So yeah, I'd look into that if you're looking into Wings of Mercy or Escape Route. Vantage. I would not put Vantage on her unless I have distant counter on her, which I don't. I don't want to sacrifice a Hector for that. I believe there's better options. Basically, Vantage, I think, usually is reserved for characters that can attack both long range and close range, you know, can counterattack both ranges, because otherwise, if you have Vantage, then your enemy is just gonna be like, oh look, it's a melee character, so I'll just range attack them. Or if you're like a range character, then and you got Vantage, the guy's gonna be like, oh well, it's a range character, so I'm just gonna position my guy, you know, like, and then just melee them because they can't hit one space. So this is why Vantage works really well against this is why Vantage works really well on units that can counter both sort of ranges. So no Vantage on her unless you put distant counter on her, which comes at a cost of sacrificing your Hector, which I think Hector synergizes with Lucina quite well, so deal breaker, man. Not good. Okay, so the next one, Swordbreaker. So remember what I said about you die if you get doubled? Well, with skill inheritance being a thing now, nobody is really gonna, well, yeah, like what I'm trying to say is that red units might have Swordbreaker themselves, in which case they will double you and then you will die. Before skill inheritance though, this would be kind of a pointless skill for Lucina because of her naturally high speed. Nobody can really double her, not many can double her anyways, not naturally anyways. So Swordbreaker is there if you want her to have a fair chance or a absolutely great chance against any sword users who might or might not have the skill. Basically, if you do not have Swordbreaker and your opponents do, and you fight them, then you can't counter that red unit. You need a blue unit for that. So yeah, it's quite a good. It will be quite a good skill on her with skill inheritance. So yeah, earlier on I did this talking thing about explaining renewal and all that stuff. So yeah, here we go. Okay, so this is, wow, what the hell is going on? Took the wrong thing. Here we go. Okay, so this is a little chart thing that I made up for just for renewal, because I felt like I should explain this a little bit. Okay, so renewal stacks with the Falcion. Do not give Lucina renewal 2 because it'll overlap with the Falcion. I don't know if she gets 20 HP on that same turn. Actually, yeah, I'm not sure about that myself. But if you have renewal 3, then she heals every you know, she'll heal every third turn because of the Falcion, and then she'll heal every second turn from the renewal, and because they stack. So if you take a look at this chart, this shabby little chart that I made here, Renewal and Falcion will both heal on the beginning turn, and then on turn 2, well, and then on the first turn of combat, wait, and then the next turn basically, you get no heals. But then after that, you get heal from Renewal, and then after that, you get another heal from the Falcion, and then after that, you get Renewal from you get 10 HP from the Renewal, and then you have the one turn with no healing, and then you have, you know, it resets itself. I'm not sure if you get 20 HP that turn, and then one turn of no healing, and then you get 10, and then, you know, it goes on like that. So it goes on like this, like a loop. So Renewal is really good for Lucina. Remember when I would God. So my point being that Lucina will be able to take one hit no matter what, I believe, unless it's a blue unit, so she'll die to that, definitely. But she'll be able to take that one hit, and if she's at full HP, she's constantly going to be able to take that one hit and counterattack with a, you know, like double attack. So this is a good way to keep her topped off at max HP, for her to be able to always take that one hit. So this makes her very, very sort of bulky if you work around it. So Renewal will work really, really well with you know, skills like this and skills like this, because you're keeping your Lucina's HP nice and healthy. And you can also play defensively if you have Renewal. Like, say you enter a match and wow, it's a whole bunch of blues and stuff like that, and you're gonna get destroyed. Well, just let your allies take care of that stuff, and then you just sit in the back, drinking potions and, you know, being essentially a healer for your party, because you're getting topped off. And since you're getting topped off so much, you may as well top your allies off a little bit with, you know, like Ardent Sacrifice. So definitely, no noontime, no like Ardent Sacrifice kind of thing. Ardent Sacrifice and noontime should only be on her if she has Renewal. Yeah. So this is why I sort of didn't drag Ardent Sacrifice up there. But yeah, that's the big explanation basically. Okay, so let's move on. Slot C. Man, I feel like I should explain what Noontime does. It's basically an ultimate that heals 30% of your damage dealt, and it's only got 2 cooldown or something like that. Okay, so anyway, slot C, you got threaten attack, threaten defense, and threaten speed. So the way that threaten stats work is that when units come within 2 spaces of your character, they get a debuff, and at level 3, they get a debuff of -5 for that particular stat. So threaten attack 3 basically means they get attack -5, which means essentially if you flip it around, that means you get defense +5 in a way, if you get what I'm saying. Well, defense and resistance, but no mages are gonna be in that range and not attack you first and kill you, so don't even worry about that. But basically it means your defense will be increased, and likewise threaten defense, because you're lowering the enemy speed. Your own, it essentially means your own speed is a little bit higher, like against the enemies, if that makes any sense. So bad at explaining this stuff. Threaten defense means you get a attack boost because of their lowered defense. So essentially, it, yeah, you get the idea. You guys get the idea. I hope. So bad at explaining this stuff. So The reason I have threatened attack up there is because of the here it comes again, the ardent sacrifice, noontime renewal, and all that stuff. So if you have that kind of build, you want to be able to survive long enough for the healing to kick back in and top you up. So this will be really good. Now mind you that slot C ability, if you put the threaten stuff on, you have to be quite onto it with your character positioning. And my outlook on threaten stat abilities is they generally work better for ranged characters, because if you're a melee character and a ranged character, ranged characters can just be out of that threaten zone, and then they can just come in for the kill and utterly destroy you before you've even threatened their stat. So yeah, I think for threaten stuff, generally speaking, ranged units are better off with it. But Lucina, I really wouldn't want to fight ranged units with her. So yeah, if you're fighting melee versus melee, then definitely go for these kind of stuff. So I guess we should put up some builds for demonstration purposes. Okay, so basically this is what I would probably do in most cases, like the go-to kind of the go-to build, basically. Where is that one? Okay, so this build right here, this will make you speed demon, and you will double everybody in the whole game, unless they're a merged unit, or if they're like, I don't know, got their own speed boons and stuff. But this makes you able to double pretty much everybody in the whole game, and after you take that one hit and puts you in desperation range, you'll be able to double anybody before they can even retaliate with the counterattack. And when Lucina doubles somebody, they're dead. They're pretty much dead. So this is quite a good build. But you have one problem, and that comes in the fact that her Falcion will heal her, so it will slowly drag her out of desperation range, which means this thing could potentially deactivate at a very crucial moment where you need it. But then again, if you think about it, if she's a buff and out of desperation range, meaning if she is at above 75% HP, she'll be able to lift one hit, I think. So it might not be too bad. A little bit dangerous though, because if you say if the Falcion say puts you at like say you go 50% HP, and then obviously desperation activates, and then your Falcion just at the very wrong sort of awful timing puts your HP at 78% because of the healing or some bullshit, you will be able to live one hit from the enemy, after which you'll be at like 20 something or like 12% HP or something. So yeah, it's a little bit weird. So anyways, the next one I'm gonna put up, let's see. This one is going to be my favorite. Okay. sorry, it's dragging the stuff. Gets a little bit confusing sometimes. I don't know. Noontime and Moonbow. I really don't know which one. I would probably go with Noontime actually. God, I don't know. That extra attack is very good though, because if they're dead, they're not there to attack you again, obviously. So yeah, that's good. So like I said before, here's that stupid ass chart again that hopefully puts things in a better perspective. You're gonna be getting a lot of HP back, enough that you can share with your allies. If you have a tank in your team, they'll really appreciate this. So I have a Hector in my team, and he's constantly taking a lot of damage. I have Vantage on my Hector, so yeah, like I'm thinking of putting Renewal on that, because that with Hector you double people when you counter if yeah, above a certain amount of HP. But anyways, that's a topic for another day. Anyways, my point is that if you have tanks or just anybody in your party that needs healing, this makes you like a extremely good DPS, and also makes you quite a reliable healer. So definitely consider it. I think I prefer this actually, because and if you think about it, in the arena fights, you hardly ever need to be taking out more than one guy with your one character. I think one or two guys, yeah. So in the arena, typically what happens is if you're a tank, you probably, you're gonna take a lot of damage, and if you're a tank, or if you're a mage, or if you're a tank, then you are in a position to take out more than one target. But if you're just like a DPS sort of character, your HP is probably gonna go quite low after engaging in one fight. So the second fight, you wanna kind of, it'll be a little bit hard unless you kind of like lure them away and fight them on their own. But typically speaking, I don't know, like for my DPS characters, they go in, they get the kill, they go back, and the other guys take care of it. Or if you have a dancer and stuff like that, maybe they can go get 2 kills. But yeah. But what I'm saying is, if you do this, then this opens up your doors, because you can be the DPS that you want, and you can fill that role, yeah. And you can also heal your other allies, which is a godsend in the arena, because healers have really bad base stats. So you're gonna be matched up with low rank, which will affect your chance of getting a higher arena score. And anyways, I explained that in a different video. Basically, you need high base stats for your team. Lucina's got high base stats, and she's got high damage, high speed. She can survive one hit, and if she can work out as a healer, then that's great. Then yeah, that's great. Anyways, I'm getting a little bit overexcited because of the the idea, like, oh man, this could be OP. But anyways, moving on. Moving on. Let's see, let's put this back here. Okay, out of the sacrifice, you can't be there without renewal. And threaten attack is probably not a good pick if you don't have renewal. Let's just close this one. Okay, so if you what was I gonna say? Well, let's put pivot back there just for now. Let's say you wanna be on top of the speed game, so in most circumstances you want darting blow. But But if you have a speed boon Lucina and you want, like, you're already gonna be able to double like 90% or 80 or 90% of the enemies anyways with your 39 speed, you might want to do Death Blow instead. So Darting Blow is really good because you get +6 speed for initiating attack, and that makes you able to double people. But if you can already do that anyways, then Death Blow, why not? You know, if you're gonna be doubling, you want to double with more attack. So oh well, let's just move on to this one. Okay, so the next one that might be pretty good is if you do this. Let's get them nice and lined up a little bit. Right, this is perfectly lined up. Yep. Where's the threatened speed? There we go. So yeah, basically what you want with skill A, slot A, and skill C is a good balance between speed and attack. So you can double attack your enemies, and you can do enough damage with that double attack. This is basically your goal. So if you have a attack IV, or if you have neutral IV, whatever, work on your speed. Doubling increases damage. Doubling increases your damage double, twice-fold, two-folds. Yeah. So work on your speed if you're not confident you're gonna be doubling people. But if you can, if you are able to double most enemies already anyways, then work on your attack, because why not? You're gonna be doubling them, so may as well add a little bit more attack to that. So yeah, it's basically if your Lucina has better attack, work on the speed. If you're happy with being able to double the majority of characters but not everybody, if you have a speed Lucina, then if you're happy with being able to double pretty much anybody but not absolutely everybody, then work on your attack a little bit. If you have a speed Lucina and you want to double everybody because you just love doing that, then work on your speed as well. If you have neither of those and you have something like a defense boon or resistance boon or something like that, work on your speed. Yeah, speed is the #1 priority for her. If you have a attack bane or speed bane, that can still be okay. It's just the speed bane is probably the worst bane for her, because defense wise, this is how it works. Your natural speed, like your Lucina's base stats, her base speed is 36, which means she is unable to be doubled by the majority of characters, which is quite good, but some characters can still double her, no problem. These speed augmenting abilities only kick in very specifically. Let's say like threatened speed, like in the arena, who's gonna double you? Like people with sword breakers, or all the blue units, which are gonna kill you anyways, because blue units will kill you regardless because of the color advantage thing and her shitty defense, and also the fact that they all seem to have brave classes. You're gonna run into a lot of speedy mages. So threatened speed only kicks in when they enter your range, but they won't because they're mages, so they're gonna double you because they have 41 speed. What are you gonna do about that? So yeah, I think it's 34. Wait, 36. Yeah. Oh god, I think they can double you even if they have if you have neutral speed. But anyways, Guiding Blow works the same way. You gotta initiate that attack for the speed to kick in. So this is why a speed bane on her, lowering her speed to 33 by default. It's a little bit dangerous. You might want to consider Fury or Speed or something like that, just to put her speed up there for her to not get doubled, because if she gets doubled, she's definitely dead. Yeah. I went on a little bit of a rant there, didn't I? God, I don't have this like well written down or anything. So yeah, I guess in the future I should probably make some sort of plan on how I intend to do this. Oh man. Okay, so that is my little in-depth review kind of thing, character guide, skill inheritance, and a look at Lucina, who was one of the fan favorites of Fire Emblem Heroes and Fire Emblem Awakening. Yeah, so she is definitely a cool character. If you have her, you're very lucky, and I look forward to in fact, why don't you guys share with me some of your own builds? Let me know what you guys like to put on your Lucina, and the reasoning behind it, actually, because I'm really into this stuff. I will definitely be doing more of these kinds of videos. I quite like doing these. I don't really have a set format or template, and I'm not really good at speaking on a microphone. I get a little bit microphone shy, and I don't know, like, I repeat a lot of stuff I say as well, so definitely, a little bit unprepared, except for the graphical part, because, I've sit with that, I think. But anyways, I don't know who I should do for the second character review, but I will be making one soon. That's all I can say for now. Well, yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys do enjoy my this video, and please share with me some of your ideas for custom skill inheritance and stuff, and share with me your ideas on how Lucina should be used and what her role is, and units that synergize with her. Basically everything that I've covered in this is of my own opinion, but I'm not all-knowing and all that stuff, and learning more is always so much, it's really fun, like trying to come up with the best build possible, but a lot of this has to do with like what other units are involved in your team setup kind of thing. So let me know like what sort of stuff you guys have going on. I'll be very interested to hear about it. And yeah, okay, so that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one.